Is the mic on? Episode 136. You know it. What's wrong with Orny Adams? Well, good old Snake Hips went home for Thanksgiving. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. I have a 32-inch waist. That's what I buy, 32. Although when I was younger, I was a 34. And the sizes have changed. What used to be 34, they are now selling as 32. So people feel better about themselves. I'm sure I'm really a 34, but I buy 32. I could buy 31. I could buy 30. I could buy 18 and my pants would still fall down. It doesn't matter what size pants I buy, how tight I get them. They end up falling down by the end of the day. Now, why does this happen? Because as my dad informed me at a very young age, I have snake hips. And what does that mean? Well, snakes don't have hips, and neither do I, which is why I have not given birth. And why my pants never stay up. And I feel like this is a disability. And my entire family laughed at me. Didn't laugh, actually. I would have preferred they laughed. But there was an hors d'oeuvres table. It's my French. Hors d'oeuvres. There was, Thanksgiving, we get together. A big discussion. Are we eating dinner at 4, 4:30, 5? And we get there, and no matter what time we're eating, I think we decided on 4. It just keeps getting earlier and next year, Thanksgiving is going to be in October for my family. It's getting earlier and earlier. And there's a group text, and who cares if it's 4 or 5? How about we show up and we eat? I guess you got to time the turkey, but you eat when you eat. When you're hungry. So everybody shows up and there's a big spread. My mom's big into the charcuterie stuff. You know what I mean? Olives, dips, chips, lots of cheeses, at least 5 selections of cheeses. And then there's like olive tapenade. There's some tapenade. And maybe honey and nuts, and it's a big to-do. Then my sister rolls out this soup. She makes this squash soup. It's the most delicious thing you've ever had. Little hint of lemongrass. It's remarkable. It's always the perfect temperature. So everything's going dandy. We're all having a good time. And I'm now a few hours into the day, so the 32-inch waist pants start to loosen a little. I don't know why. I don't know if this happens to other people, but, you take them out of the dryer and they're snug. 2 hours later, they're rolling off your snake hips. So I bend over to get some hors d'oeuvres. Some hors d'oeuvres. And apparently, I've now exposed myself to the family. And they were disgusted. I mean, they were like, come on. Like I wish they had just laughed. They were like, I ruined my ass crack ruined Thanksgiving for everybody. And I'm here to say, having snake hips and not being able to keep your pants up is a disability. And I should be treated as such. I can't help it. I've tried everything, and I'm not going to try suspenders. That's the end of the line. That's welcome to Loserville. Suspenders. Unless you're working on a farm or something. You know what I'm going to do? Overalls. I'll just wear overalls, like Buddy Guy. Well, here we are, episode 136.
What's his name, Kev?
Orny Adams. I love having music behind me. But I'm thinking maybe I just need to play the theme one time. I'm going to try not to play the theme at the end. So let me thank now Audio, my sound guy. He's great. So thank you for mastering this up front. There you go. Snake hips went home. Now my headphones are falling off my head like I have a snake head. Oh yeah, this is a headline I've got to get into. But I went to Home Depot yesterday. Bringing this down a little bit. I went to Home Depot yesterday because I had to get some stuff for the sprinklers from my yard. And I went out of my way. I went against traffic at 3 p.m., which is rush hour, the beginning of rush hour here in the City of Angels where nobody works. I don't know why there's traffic at all. Everyone's working from home. And I go into the Home Depot and, it's a shit show. Just people just open stuff. I don't know if they're stealing them. I don't know what's going on. But the sprinkler heads, they're supposed to come in a little plastic bag, and it should say, "Oh, this is going to spray at 15 degrees, 45 degrees, a 90-degree portion of a circumference." This is a box. And I don't know what I guess I could look at it if I knew what I was doing and go, "Oh, all right, the opening on this sprinkler head it looks like a 15-degree." But I don't know what I'm doing. There's nobody there to ask. People are asking me for help. That's how bad it is. So I go there. I get a couple of storage bins for my merch. By the way, if anybody who listens to this podcast is a kick-ass graphic designer, reach out to me at the email, what'swrong@ornyadams.com. I've got 2 new shirt ideas I want to work on. But here's what happened. I come home. I kid you not. And I go into the guest bathroom. And I go to flush the toilet. And it goes, and you heard something. And something inside the tank went wrong. Something went very wrong. I don't need this. I got a show. I was about to shower for my show. I'm at the Laugh Factory. I'm all excited. I time it perfectly. I jump in the shower like a fireman. I'm out the door, dressed out the door very fast. And I leave very little time because it gets my adrenaline going. So, if I have to be out the door at 8:05, at 7:55, I hit the shower. I'm in the clothes. I'm out the door. Here we go. Showtime. Well, not when you jiggle the handle and it breaks. And I had just left Home Depot. That person needs to fix their brakes, whatever, just drove by. And can you hear that? I had just come home from Home Depot and now something else breaks. That's a little convenient. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but you think Home Depot is in on this shit? You know what I mean? Like, how convenient that I come home and then now I got to go back today. I go to Home Depot once every few months. So I'm calling conspiracy theory on that. But who knows? Who knows? Here's some observations I made over Thanksgiving. Oh, it's trash day. That's what's going on. As I'm getting older, and I think we can look at me and see that this process has started rapidly. I think at some point you just go, screw it, I'm done fighting my genetics. It's a full-time job fighting my genetics, watching what I eat, going to the gym, making sure I sleep enough, making sure I'm not stressed. I'm just going to go full on. I don't give a shit anymore what I look like until I see the pictures. I saw a picture. We took a family picture, and old Snake Hips there was looking a little fat-headed. What's going on? Why do I look so fat-headed? I thought I looked good. I thought I was down in weight a little bit. I mean, I look at the monitor right now, and I go, I look pretty good. Am I fooling myself? Like when I just took my most recent picture for my license, I thought I was having a skinny face day. I look at it now, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, why do we fool ourselves into thinking we look a certain way when we don't? And also, why do we care? Why do we care what we look like so much? God, I wish I was around when you had to look in a lake to see your reflection. There weren't mirrors, there weren't cameras everywhere. I'm sick of it. But I've noticed as I get older, my thumb, and when I'm taking iPhone pictures, my thumb is creeping into the picture. I'm like, well, what's that little flesh-looking mountain on the bottom of the picture? Oh, my finger snuck in there. And I'm not an idiot. I hold it right. But somehow these cameras have gotten so optically wide or fish-eyed or whatever they're doing over there. It's making old people like me insert their fingers and their digits where they're not supposed to be. And it makes me feel older. And I'm sorry. I didn't buy a $1,600 iPhone to feel like shit. I'm on fire today. Well, breaking health news. And I'm not talking about the United Health murder, but maybe I'll get into that. It's a little bit controversial. I think, But this is, how many times are we going to go over this? Even on this podcast. If anybody is archiving mentally this podcast or taking copious notes, if you could tell me how many times I've talked about this, like study, and it's one thing, then it reverses itself, then it goes back. But here it is. Drinking coffee daily may add 2 years to your life, according to Newsweek. Researchers from Portugal have uncovered compelling evidence. Since when are we listening to researchers in Portugal? This is America. We got our own researchers. I'm hearing a lot of people vacationing in Portugal. Is it a good place? Is that, should I put that on my bucket list? I feel like I might have been there when I was in college. When I went over to Spain when I was living in Italy. Anyway, researchers in Portugal have uncovered compelling evidence. Compelling. I like mathematical. Evidence that drinking coffee isn't just a pleasant ritual. I'm going to take a sip because it really is a pleasant ritual. And I'm going to slam the mic stand. But potentially a powerful tool for maintaining health as we get older. And Lord knows, I'm getting older. The study published in Aging Research Reviews. Who knew there was an Aging Research Reviews? I should subscribe to that. I should be reading that every day. How do I fight my genetics? You always say, I'm not going to look like my, you get together for your family gets together, not even your immediate family, but your extended family. And there's some people you look at and you go, oh, I could end up like that. I got to avoid that. Look how much food they have on their plate. That's why. Oh, look at you blame them. Oh, they have a stressful life. They just don't care. I'm Mr. Hollywood. I care. And guess what? Doesn't matter. Your genetics are inside you going, okay, keep trying, buddy. You want to hear God laugh? Tell him you want to hear genetics laugh? Tell him you have a plan. These reviews reveals that moderate coffee drinking, which I put myself at 1 cup a day, probably 2. I call it 1 cup. But look at that thing. As Dennis Miller would say, it was so big it has an undertow. Reveals that moderate coffee drinking could be a simple yet effective way to support healthy aging. And I think that's what all we're looking for. You know what I do? I put a little turmeric in there and acai berries. And the research suggests that coffee may help reduce the risk of several chronic diseases, including cardiovascular issues, cancer, respiratory diseases, and cognitive decline, which I would say I have a lot of cognitive decline, and I blame long COVID. I don't know anybody else, but I'm noticing just simple things. Like today, I had to write $120.50, and I'm like, is it it's a period then 50 cents? I start to question. My brain is playing tricks. My brain is gaslighting me. That's what's going on. So I'm going to drink 2 cups a day until another study comes out in 6 months. Just wait, you'll see. It's not just the caffeine. That's why I'm doing it. By the way, you live longer because you're happier. People that drink coffee are happy. You ever see people before coffee and after coffee? They're a lot happier. That's why. It's not just the caffeine. Coffee contains over 2,000 potentially bioactive compounds, including polyphenols. Now, how many times have I said to you, are you getting enough of your polyphenols? Polyphenols may offer antioxidants and anti-inflammatory benefits. Boy, everybody is all into anti-inflammatory now. Everybody's into anti-inflammatory. Just take a baby aspirin a day. Ew, gotta have turmeric. You getting your turmeric? Oh, and don't forget to give your dogs turmeric too. These compounds could help regulate insulin sensitivity and reduce neuroinflammation. That's the other thing, insulin sensitivity. That's high blood sugar. That's the latest. Everybody's got high blood sugar. And boy, are the medical people making a lot of money on it. They sure are. They couldn't be happier that everyone's got diabetes all of a sudden. This is a cash cow. Oh, they love it. Oh, and then the article always ends, it's got to be a little cutesy. So the next time you brew your morning coffee, you might just be doing something good for your long-term health. Just remember, moderation is key. Now, what has good old Snake Hips Orny Adams always said on this podcast? Moderation is the key. I say everything in moderation. Yeah, I'm very skeptical of the healthcare industry. I've talked about it for years on stage. I've even dabbled in this topic that I believe these insurance companies or these drug manufacturers, big pharma, as we call them, completely unregulated, Wild West out there. I mean, you don't think that like in 10 years there's going to be substantial evidence that this the Ozempic, is it Ozempic or Ozempric? I guess if you're a dick and you take Ozempic, then you're an Ozempric. But the studies are going to come out that this is damaging. I just don't think you should mess with the equilibrium of your body or the natural state of your body too much, which is why I'm prepared to let myself go and just have people look at me and go, holy shit, what happened to Orny Adams? Remember the old pictures? But I think studies are going to come out in 10 years that Ozempic is really bad and damage people. I think you should really, like, if you just want to lose 10 pounds, which I'd love to do, I don't think it's worth the risk of taking this new medication that just isn't proven. You know, think about like self-driving cars. Have you read any sort of government studies on self-driving cars and how it works? Has the government done studies, or are we just taking Musk's word? And the car industry's work, are they such a big lobby? They're just like, hey, we're just going to let cars drive themselves. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of it. Like, this doesn't seem like it's been sort of right. There used to be something called crash test dummies. I used to trust my government to overlook and oversee these things to ensure my safety. Now I don't know what's going on. I had a driverless car cut me off the other day, and I swear it gave me the finger. So I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And I don't trust medical studies. And obviously we have a problem because this CEO of United Healthcare was just assassinated on the street. And it was a vile act. And yet the online community seems to be supporting the shooter who they've now captured. People are so fed up with these thieves. Insurance is thieves. Look what happens like in Florida when cities are wiped out by hurricanes. What happens? Is stuff covered? How hard is it to prove? You think when you're younger, oh, they're on my side. They're there to protect. I pay in every month to insurance, whether it's for your home or your health. They're going to be there when something happens, God forbid. And I hope nothing happens. But like, let's say I get sick. They do everything to make sure they don't have to pay you out. Everything. I don't know why this is allowed. Why they're allowed to deny claims. Why they would rather people suffer and people die. They're just letting people die, and they don't care because they're enriching themselves. And so the sentiment is, well, this guy's an asshole. He doesn't care about people. So, oh well, we shot him for the better good of the world. And I hope this leads to change. I know that other CEOs are in fear, and that could lead to change. And wouldn't that be wonderful? On stage, you've heard me talk about the foot cream incident where I was forced to buy foot cream that I didn't even need. I had no idea it was going to cost like $545. And this was at a time when I didn't have that kind of money. And to be honest with you, I have that kind of money now, but I still wouldn't spend it on foot cream that I don't need unless there's an apocalypse and I could trade it. with somebody else for some product that I might need. Oh, at the end of the podcast, I'm going to talk about new laws passed in California. I just briefly looked at this article, and it's pretty interesting. Now, if you're thinking, Orny Adams, I love your comedy and I love your podcast. When can I see you do stand-up comedy? Well, the good news is I will be at the Irvine Improv this weekend, starting tomorrow night, December 13th through 15th. That's 5 shows in Irvine, California. This club is huge. I love it. Looks like the early shows are selling out. So hop on it and let's make the late shows fun. So Irvine Improv, December 13th through 15th. I'm at the Ice House again, January 18th. Tickets are starting to really move. February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. Come see me. Oh, I have such a great story about this couple and what they're eating. I'll talk about that next. February 13th, Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, California. This is the anti-Valentine's Day people will be coming out for that. Chicago Improv, back in the basement of the mall, January 30th through February 1st. And then McCurdy's Comedy Club in Sarasota, Florida, March 21, 22. Where do you go? Say it with me. OrnyAdams.com/tour. I said OrnyAdams.com/tour. And if you want to write me an email, what's wrong at OrnyAdams.com. So I have so much to talk about. I do want to say something serious. Oh, I'll talk about when I do the laws in California. Oh, I got one of those Black Friday deals. I did Hulu in Disney Plus for $2.99 a month for 12 months, and it is like an oasis. It's like I've just entered a new country, a new streaming country. All these titles I've never seen before, all these documentaries. I'm loving it. Loving Hulu, loving Disney Plus. Now, the problem is the $2.99 deal is Hulu with commercials. And let me tell you something. They love commercials over there. I mean, it's more like commercials with Hulu. It's more like commercials, sprinkle in a little Hulu. But big fan. Now I'm thinking maybe I shoot a special, put it up on Hulu. Maybe I'll do that. But I wish the tier with all with the commercials, I wish there were just less commercials, or there was something in the middle, or I don't know. Is it like $20 a month for the non-commercials? I have so many I now have every streaming service. I have every single one. Like Apple, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Paramount, the Amazon Prime. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing Max. Holy cow! It's how I get laid. I go, hey, you want to come over and see somebody who has cable TV, like an old person, with every channel. I don't mess around. Sometimes I call them up and go, hey, my bill's getting a little big. They're like, well, do you want to cut to a lower package? I go, no, that's how I get laid. And now I have every streaming service. I have such confidence when I talk to a woman now, and I look at her. And when she's talking, I'm just thinking in the back of my head, I got everything. I got it all. Except for YouTube Premium. I got it all. Now, I don't think I can have a woman over and watch Hulu with commercials. I think she'd be like, well, what's going on with this guy? Can't afford the premium? Read a fascinating article about a digital guy. He writes on digital news, and he said he will never pay for YouTube with commercials, because it's a ripoff. And he says it isn't fair that YouTube has ruined its service by having commercials. That they used to just have one commercial at the beginning, you could skip it. Now there's commercials throughout, and it's impossible to watch and enjoy, which I agree. And what I didn't really understand, which he made clear, was this wasn't a problem before. But what they did was they started to add more commercials, and then they introduced YouTube Premium and said, well, if you want to get rid of this is how you do it. And he felt it was unethical to create a problem and then charge customers for the solution. And I get that. I think a lot of these services are getting real greedy with the advertising. You ever try and read an article for like, you click on an article, you see it on social media, and you just try and read a paragraph, and then something pops up. You're like, oh shit, what just took over the whole screen? And how do you exit? You try and exit out. Now you're on some other website. You're being hacked. Like, selling us stuff is out of control. So anyway, I don't know where I was or what I was talking about, but maybe someday researchers in Portugal will let us know what's going on with those Empic. Because that's where I get all my aging. I wish the researchers in Portugal would tell us about turmeric, turmeric, I'm going to cross some of this stuff off so I know where I am. I'm looking at a piece of paper for the people listening. Flapper toilet done. Yeah, I'll do that. If the you know what? Hulu with commercials. Dogs. I always love to talk about dogs. Coffee. Talked about that. I love Boy, is there anything more annoying when you're listening to my podcast and I go, I'm going, hey, yeah, maybe keep the in your head. That doesn't have to come out. When I and I listen to my podcast or I watch it and I go, that's a sign of weakness. I don't like being weak. I want, my goal for 2025 is no ums. No ums and what's wrong with Orny Adams. How about that? So I'm watching this show on Max, my favorite, called 90 Day Fiancé. And there's a reunion. And boy, do we love the reunion. It's genius. I'll tell you why it's genius. If you've never watched this show, they get idiots to date people from other countries. A lot of people aren't really matched appropriately. Like you look at them and go, that person's trying to get citizenship here in this country. All right, I don't mean to be skeptical, but I think that goes on. And so I'm just going to add So I'm watching the reunion. And what's genius about it is most of these people, all they do is fight, and they shouldn't be couples. And it makes me realize I want to be in a tranquil, peaceful relationship only. These train wrecks. I don't know if you know the comedian Eric Griffin, but we talk about 90 Day Fiancé all the time. It's like, it's such mindless. And you watch these people, you feel better about yourself. Because it's horrible relationships. And also, you notice what people get upset about, and you think, what are you upset about that? Like, that's just not reasonable. Like, do you not see that you're being unreasonable? People are so in their heads. People are acting in so many ways based on previous experiences that they've had. And everybody also thinks that they've figured out dating. Just date. Just be married. Just chill. Stop psychoanalyzing. Stop, relationships have become like people think it's mathematical. Stop doing psychotherapy to your partner. People are going to have good days. They're going to have bad days. They're going to have flaws. Accept them. And there's a lot of codependency going on. Just be in a relationship. So I'm watching this show, and what's genius about the reunions is now they're all together, and the idiots are now commenting on other idiot relationships. Do you understand? The least qualified people are now commenting on the flaws in other people's relationships. So you have this person over here where they, their relationship is horrible. You think they shouldn't even be together. Now they're giving relationship advice to this couple. And you just sit there and go, this can't be happening. Are they that unaware that they're in the most unhealthy relationship and now they're giving relationship advice? I say that's genius. Whoever came up with this show and edits it is a genius. So there's this one couple, Shaniwa, I don't even know how to say her name, and some guy who's over in Turkey, I think. These two people are the most plastic-looking people in the world. And right there you go, well, there's something missing in their lives if you look at them. And in order to stay skinny, they are on this like keto, which I think is the caveman diet, and they have 0 carbs. Now, if you know good old Snake Hips Orny Adams, I'm pro carbs. I love carbs. I'd love to be eating carbs right now. I can feel my brain drifting, and I'm like, oh, I'd love some carbs. That will keep me on point. I eat carbs before my show. You think I'm going to get up on stage and run around? Why do you think I have such a vibrant, beautiful personality? Because I eat carbs. Why do you think a lot of good-looking people are boring? Because they don't eat carbs. Because their appearance means more to them than their personality. I'm the opposite. But these two people have taken it to a whole new level of dieting, this caveman keto diet. They're eating sticks of butter. And they're doing it on the show. I want to vomit. They're peeling off the... And why is that wrapper on the butter so hard to get off sometimes? It's wrapped like a gift, too. They should just put a bow on the thing of butter. These people, I eat probably 1 stick of butter in total a year. In fact, until recently, I didn't even keep butter in my house. These people are eating like just unwrapping the butter, and it makes me want to gag. It makes me want to vomit. But yet, what fascinates me the most is of the 7 or inching closer to 8 billion people on this planet, these two people that are willing to eat butter found each other. They're like the Bonnie and Clyde of dating. Like Bonnie and Clyde, two people found each other and were willing to commit crimes and murder. How did they find each other? Blows my mind. How did two people willing to eat? But when I think about women that have been critical of me saying, you're trying to change me, I'm going to look at them and say, I never tried to make you eat butter. I'm just trying to find a woman that could fall asleep with the TV on, with a timer that will go off in 30 minutes. I'm not asking anybody to eat butter. I am so fascinated by this. In fact, it makes me think that they should be together because they're never going to find somebody else that they can eat butter with. It is so disgusting. I imagine their breath is absolutely vile as their innards are eating themselves because of the lack of carbohydrates. Just eat in moderation, much like the researchers in Portugal tell people. Now, there's an employee of a comedy club in Manhattan, this is sad, that was attacked on a subway. And it's scary times. I'm going to talk about laws after this that have now been passed in California, but it is scary times. And this person was attacked from behind. I'm sure it wasn't provoked. I know the employee. And I got a GoFundMe. And I donated proudly. And I'll tell you why. They had already reached the goal within minutes. And I donated because it made me feel like I was part of a community. And I think that's so important. It made me think I'm part of something bigger. And when something happens to somebody in the comedy community, we all come together. Now, you bomb, we come together and roast you. But if you're sick, there's another person whose daughter was sick we raised money for this year. I'm starting to think there's going to be too many because I know too many comedians. I know too many people. Like if you're in another business, you go to the office every day, you know maybe 50 people. Maybe there's one GoFundMe in your future. I feel like I have a lot of GoFundMes in the future because I know too many people. I'm thinking of all the ones that people that have gotten cancer I've donated to. But anyway, it makes me feel like I'm part of a community. And it reminds me of that book, once again, Bowling Alone, where you just want to feel like you're part of something. I think that's so important in life. You want to feel like you're part of something. Let's talk about new laws here in California. I'm going to boot up my phone. Here we go. I'm going to put on my glasses. This is from Fox 11 here in Los Angeles, California. Here are new laws passed. New California laws going into effect in 2025. These laws have been signed. I have to X out of an ad already. Okay. AI in Hollywood, artificial intelligence. AB 2602 makes it illegal to use artificial intelligence to replicate. I'm not kidding, a pop-up just came up. Makes it illegal to replicate. Makes it illegal to use artificial intelligence to replicate an actor's voice or likeness without permission. That's a good one. Then another law prohibits the use of dead actors' voices or likeness without the consent of their estate. I wonder if I have an estate. What happens when I die? Who's my estate? I've got to ask my lawyer, who's my estate? Who's going to make those decisions? I have a feeling in the future, dead Orny is going to make more than alive Orny. Somebody in my estate is going to profit off of my likeness. This likeness is great. I think I'm ripe for some AI-ness. Let's see. SB 1100. This law makes it illegal for a job posting to require applicants to have a valid driver's license. Well, that's good. Listen to this one. This one's weird. SB 905 eliminates the, quote, locked door loophole, which required prosecutors to prove car doors were locked when a burglary took place. This gives prosecutors more flexibility to address auto burglary and thefts. Well, I agree with that. Who cares if the car's locked? That doesn't mean that your stuff can be stolen. Doesn't mean like you're inviting them to come in. That's a great law. Way to go, California. AB 1775 cites and allowing existing cannabis retailers and consumption lounges to sell non-cannabis food and drinks. Thought they already did this. Under the current law, cannabis retailers with consumption areas may sell prepackaged food and beverages, like bags of chips. They're going to turn into 7-Eleven, these places. This bill expands legislation to include freshly prepared food and drinks consistent with the California Retail Food Code. This is going to blur a lot of lines. You're going to see pot being sold in a lot more places, I have a feeling. Oh, this is a good one. AB 2863, companies offering auto renewal. Man, do I hate auto renewal. Services must give customers the option to cancel the subscription by the same method they use to subscribe, beginning July 1. Boy, July 1 can't come fast enough. I hate that. I hate when it's tough to get out of something. Sometimes I make you email and talk to somebody. AB 375 requires fast food delivery services such as DoorDash and Uber Eats to provide customers with a first name and photo of the delivery driver. Well, that's weird. I guess that makes sense. You got to know who's coming to your door. AB 3209 allows retail stores to get restraining orders against people sentenced to stealing, vandalizing, or assaulting an employee at the store. We have so much crime in this city. And I hate to sound like an old person who's fighting their genetics, but I pay a lot of taxes. A lot. A lot more than if I lived in another state. And the crime is out of control. We've defunded the police for the most part, so we have, I think, 6 police cars patrolling the entire city of Los Angeles. And we have potholes. I remember when I was a kid, adults would talk about all the potholes. And I go, just go around them, get over it. Stop talking about the potholes. Celtics are playing tonight. But now, as I pay taxes, I want the potholes fixed. I want crime to stop. More laws passed in California. AB 1779 allows California district attorneys to coordinate with other DAs to consolidate charges for suspects in retail theft crimes that occur across multiple counties. This is fantastic. They got to cut down on the stealing. I'm so sick of people stealing. There's nothing worse than being in line to pay for something and seeing somebody just walk out with something. And you think, what am I, the idiot? I don't have $950. That's the threshold in California, or at least Los Angeles. You can steal up to $950 worth of goods, and it's a misdemeanor. I think the minute you steal something, it's a crime. And you should fear prosecution. There's no prosecution. There's no repercussion. If your parents said, go to bed, no dinner, and then you don't get up, and you just sit there, you eat your dinner, and don't go to your bed, go to your bedroom, no dinner. If they don't do something about it, you're not going to reform your behavior. Why should you? So good. Rack them up. Rack up these people. If they're in different counties stealing, let's go. Let's track them. Let's track them like the COVID shot. Let's track them like the flu shot. Let's track them like when you buy that cold medicine that has whatever it has in it that they make meth with, that they keep behind the counter that you have to show your driver's license for. Let's track them like that. Let's get some AI on their faces. I mean, I don't even want to go out anymore. When I go to like a Target and everything's behind glass, it depresses me. That shampoo's behind glass. That I have to call somebody over to give me Tide detergent. That I can't sit there and sniff all the Tide detergents like I love, trying to find, do I want July Fresh? Do I want Daisies in Holland scent? Do I want fresh linen? Can't do that anymore because they're like, you know which one you want? Which one you want? They open it. Grab one. They stand there. Can't say, excuse me, could you open all the cases? I want to sniff them. And then I want to take an unopened one. Why is that? Because my state, California, has allowed people to steal and not get prosecuted. And you can't tempt people. And even though that stuff is out in the open, you can't steal it. Just like you leave your car unlocked. That doesn't mean that you're inviting people in. That's the most absurd thing. That's like blaming a victim for being assaulted sexually because of the way they dressed. SB 1414 raises the classification for soliciting and buying sex from minors under 16 from a misdemeanor to a felony. Now, why was that ever a misdemeanor? California's playing catch up on that one. This one's controversial. AB 1955 prohibits school districts in the state from enacting policies that would force educators to notify parents if students identify as transgender or request to use a different name. So the state's going to predict kids and not the parents. I mean, I'd really have to think about this one. That's a tough one. Under AB, what is this? 1821, California public schools will be required to teach the impact of the mission period and gold rush on California Native Americans. That's unbelievable. Wow. Oh, here's healthcare. SB 639 requires healthcare professionals who provide care for people 65 and older to take continuing education in geriatrics and dementia care. Well, let me tell you something. You know what SB 639 should require? That we force these elderly people to drink 2 cups of coffee a day to extend their life 2 years. I think we all have dementia. You know why we're all battling dementia? Because of what happened to us during COVID. And what's happening in the world now, because everyone's nose deep into an iPhone or a device. We're overwhelmed with information. Nobody just sits around talking anymore without being distracted. Should I do more? Are you guys enjoying this? Let's see. Agriculture. SB 1105 allows agriculture workers to use paid sick days to prevent the effects of working outdoors in dangerous conditions such as smoke or extreme heat, which we have now because we have these California Malibu fires going on. A lot of paid sick leave. Oh, firearms. What's this one? AB 2917, threats directed towards a group or location will be permissible in court when deciding whether to issue a restraining order to prohibit a person from purchasing. That doesn't excite me. A lot of firearm stuff. AB 1598. Love to know what AB stands for. I'm sure it's like abstracto bistro. Some Latin term. Requires licensed firearm dealers to provide safety pamphlets. Oh, that's what you want, is a pamphlet when you're buying a gun. To purchasers and transferees as well as those being loaned a firearm. Oh, here's my firearm. Don't forget to read this and highlight. This is like when you're on the plane and they tell you to read the emergency rules, the exit pamphlet in the seat in front of you. Nobody does that. You know what the cleanest part of a plane is? That pamphlet. Nobody touches that. Oh, have you read the emergency instructions? Even when you're in the exit row, have you read? Oh yeah, I'm sitting there, I'm studying that thing. I'm gonna study my firearm pamphlet too. Some of these laws are ridiculous. AB 2515 bans the sale of tampons and other menstrual products that contain potentially toxic chemicals. You don't want to be shoving chemicals up there. I dated a girl, I remember years ago, who started a company where they were making all natural tampons. And I thought she was crazy. Turns out she wasn't. She was onto something. I didn't know they had chemicals. Oh, this is a good one. AB 1902, can't believe this already wasn't happening, requires pharmacies to provide accessible prescription labels to people who are blind. I think that means labels with Braille, right? Or have low vision or print disabled. What is print disabled? Let me Google that fast. Print disabled. Now I'm curious. That's a new term for something. Print disabled. How do I name print? Oh boy, I don't. Sorry, everybody. This is not professional. A print disabled person is a person who cannot effectively read print because of. This is illiterate. A person who cannot effectively read print because of a visual, physical, perceptual, developmental, cognitive, or learning disability. Illiterate. So illiterate people plus people that just have some sort of eye disability are print disabled? Is that the word? I'm going crazy in this world. I can't wait for this all to end. I really can't. Oh my God. Yeah, California shot down minimum wage increase. What else have we done here? I'm just so excited that I learned something new called print disabled. You ever hear me read? I'm print disabled. I also have another disability called snake hips. Why don't we pass a law about that, California? That's being snake hipped is a disability. And that people laughing or people pointing at my ass crack is a hate crime. Fired up about this. Oh, here's a great one. AB 2017 prohibits state chartered... No, this isn't the one. Okay. It doesn't give what the law is. SB 764. Parents who profit from social media posts using their children. Listen to that word, using. A lot of parents are using their kids to make money. And I think it's abusive in a lot of cases. When I was a kid, thank God there's no clips of me as a kid. Young Orny Adams was so obnoxious. Oh, you want to know how obnoxious I was? When I was home for Thanksgiving, I was walking around in town and I ran into an old teacher. And I went up and I said, Mrs. So-and-so. And she sort of looked at me like I had the wrong person. But I knew it was her. And then I remembered that she got married at some point and had a new name. And I figured out very fast that she was fighting, maybe she had Alzheimer's or dementia. Maybe I don't know what. But she didn't remember that she had a maiden name or that what her maiden name was. And she looked at her husband and the husband said, yeah, that used to be your name. And I said, well, anyway, I just want to say hi. You're my teacher. And she said, what's your name? I said, my name is, and she looked at me. She got this and she was looking down sort of the whole time. It wasn't like looking up. All of a sudden she looked up and wagged her finger. And she goes, I remember you. You were a naughty student. Always at the principal's office. And I don't know if this is appropriate, but I said, wow. A minute ago, you couldn't remember your own name, but somehow you remember that I was a bad student, that I was always in trouble. But it's true, I was. And that's how powerful my bad behavior was. It beats dementia. It beats dementia. How about some more laws, everybody? We fired up? Putting on my reading glasses. I'm a new guy to reading glasses. That's why they're dirty all the time. People go, look, reading glasses are so dirty. Yeah, that's because I've never had glasses my whole life. So I don't know. Parents who profit from social media, I don't know proper eyeglass maintenance because it's new to me. Parents who profit from social media posts using their children will be required to set aside some of the earnings for them under SB 764, while AB 1880, we all remember that one, expands the Coogan law to include minors who are employed as content creators on online platforms such as YouTube. The new law requires parents and guardians who monetize their children's online presence to establish a trust for the kids. That's good. And parents will have to keep records of how many minutes the children appear in their online content and how much money they earn from those posts, among other things. A lot of accounting they have to do, but it sort of reminds me of when the stories I would hear about like the kids on Leave It to Beaver and other shows like that never got compensated. The parents took all their money. And I'll be honest with you, the only reason I would ever have a kid is to have that kid out there earning for me. So now, why would I ever have a kid with AB 76, whatever it was? There's no reason to. Can't have that kid working. I want the kid online. I want the kid to act cute. Hey, act cute. If the kid doesn't act cute, up to your room, no dinner. And I will enforce it. Damn right I will. I found myself in another debate over Thanksgiving with a dog owner. I noticed when I was walking with my dad, I went on many hikes, that people on the East Coast talk to their dogs a lot less than people on the West Coast. West Coast people, they'll be like, Pookie, Pookie, come here. Pookie's walking in circles today. Pookie. Pookie hungry? Pookie just ate. Pookie's certainly hungry. Who's got Pookie? Who's got Pookie? Pookie. Pookie want to go outside? Pookie gives no indication that Pookie wants to go outside. Pookie want to go outside? Pookie want to go outside? Pookie. Who smells? Pookie smells. Pookie smells. The people in Los Angeles talk to their dogs incessantly. It's incessant chatter with the dog like it's people are so afraid of silence. They sit there and talk to this dog that has no clue what they're saying. Dogs understand this sound. Opening the drawer to where the food is. It's all they want is food. And you can't compete. This is if you ever date a dog owner, you're never going to be able to compete with the attention that dog gives the owner. You ever see like dogs look at their owners? It's just like they act all sheepish. They act like another animal. They act all sheepish. They go. And they follow the owner around the house, and they're like, oh, the owner just opened the fridge. They look at the owner like, that's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. They just, that's what the women want that own the dogs. They want me to follow them around the house and go, oh, they opened a cupboard. They just opened the door. Oh my God. Oh, they're putting clothes on. Oh, hey, we're going into the bed. We're going to watch them put clothes on. You can't compete with this. Like, you want to see how I look at women? Most people. This is how we're looking at it. I'm not impressed with opening the fridge. You can't compete. And I figured out, I got into a debate with a dog owner about dogs in restaurants. I can't stand it. It's a place of food. I'm not paying, a lot of money to sit there and have a dog. And listen, I've always been against this. And we're not talking about seeing eye dogs or dogs that are there for people that have seizures. There are some dogs that do tremendous things. Like they can sense when a seizure is coming on and they alert the person or they do something. I'm talking about just regular dogs, and I'll put drug sniffing dogs up there too. I don't need them Even though I don't do drugs, I don't need them in a restaurant. But the restaurant, in Los Angeles, they're so afraid of dog owners. There's such fear of the dog owner that the repercussions on social media, the backlash is going to be so huge that they're afraid to say no to these people that like literally carry the dog like it's a baby. Some people in California have baby carriages for their dogs. Want to discuss that? Want to get real about that? Then they bring them into the restaurant, and now we all have to be inconvenienced because I don't need to see a dog. I don't need to see them talking to the dog. I don't need to see them. I saw a dog bite a person on a patio. I was in Larchmont Village. Once I saw that, I go, all right, that's it. Now I have license to absolutely discuss what I need to discuss about these dogs. But I figured out why I can't when I go out to eat, if I'm on a date and I'm sitting on a patio and I'm spending $150 for a meal, I don't need to look down and see a dog with its bowl and the water splashing all over the place. And then the dog comes over and they go, oh, she's friendly. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. Like, I don't want to be licked right now. I'm on a date, maybe later. And here's the other thing. And dog owners love this. And I figured it out over Thanksgiving. When they're on the patio or they're on the plane or they're in the restaurant, everybody has to come over and go, what kind of dog is that? Like everybody's so curious. What breed is that? I'm a breed expert. Is that a terrier Chihuahua mixed with golden doodle? Is that golden doodle lab? What is that? Like, why do you? Oh, can I pet your dog? It's so cute. Do you mind if I take a picture? I'm trying to eat my dinner. I love your dogs. I love dogs. I love dog people. But leave the dog at home or have the dog in dog appropriate places. That's what I'm saying. That's what's wrong with Orny Adams. Welcome to What's Wrong with Orny. No, welcome to Lower Your Expectations University. What's Wrong with Orny Adams, episode 136. I want to thank you, the listener, everybody viewing this, the people watching this on my Patreon right away, the people that are watching this on YouTube a couple of weeks later, or you listening with your headsets right now, thinking, I agree with Orny Adams about everything. Or I don't agree with him about 2 cups of coffee. Or, I have a more liberal stance on dogs. That is fine. We're here to discuss it. We're here not to persecute and make people feel bad. And I want to tell you something else. And this needs to become a constitutional amendment. You have the right to laugh. And they need to make an amendment, the right to laughter. You have the freedom of speech. You have the right to bear arms. Well, somewhere in the middle, the right to laugh at whatever you want. Don't let them take that away from you. The email is what'swrong@ornyadams.com. Thank you to Audio for mastering this audio, and I will be back for episode 136. There's no theme, so I guess this thing just ends. I guess that's it. Guess the episode's over. Usually it's over when the theme's over, but guess it isn't. I'm going to go have a stick of butter right now and watch commercials on Hulu and Disney+. Listen, I don't want to make fun of them because I would love to have my special on there. I think the episode's over. I don't know. Is it?